Do you know some billionaires spend millions of dollars buying full dinosaur skeletons? Yes, real dinosaurs. Creatures that ruled the earth millions of years ago, now standing in private living rooms. Not replicas, not museum loans. The real thing, not museum displays. Actual dinosaur skeletons that walked the earth tens of millions of years ago. Some billionaires spend millions, sometimes tens of millions of dollars, to own them. Not for science, not for education, but for private collections. Because when you're that rich, flexing means owning history itself. This is Money Aha. Subscribe for more videos. Yes, complete fossils that walked the earth over 60 million years ago. For most people, dinosaurs exist in museums, textbooks, and movies. Glass cases, warning signs, do not touch. But for billionaires, those rules don't always apply. If something can be owned, it eventually will be. And dinosaurs are no exception. It might sound unbelievable, but a massive private market exists for dinosaur fossils. Complete skeletons, perfectly preserved skulls, even rare species known from only a few discoveries. At high-end auctions, dinosaur skeletons are treated like Picasso paintings or ancient Roman statues. Bidders don't whisper, they compete. Some of these fossils sell for $5 million, others for $10 million, and in rare cases, over $30 million. That's not a typo. Bones that have been buried underground for millions of years, now selling for more than private jets. And they don't put them in museums. They put them in private homes, private galleries, and private vaults. Why? Because when you're that rich, luxury isn't about cars or watches anymore. Owning a dinosaur skeleton sends a different message. It says, I don't just own luxury, I own time. Because no matter how rich you are, you can't create another dinosaur. You can only own one that already existed. It's about exclusivity. Anyone can buy a Ferrari. One of the most famous examples was a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton sold at auction for over $30 million. Not to a museum, to a private buyer. The skeleton now lives in a private space, not accessible to the public. And that sparked global controversy. Scientists were angry. Museums were outbid. Historians were worried. Because once fossils disappear into private hands, they're gone from public knowledge. But owning a T-Rex skeleton, that's owning a piece of history itself. And that's where things get complicated. Some paleontologists argue that private collectors are saving fossils that would otherwise be destroyed or lost. Others argue the opposite, that history is being locked away behind wealth. Both sides might be right. But here's the reality. Money decides. When you're a billionaire, flexing isn't about the future. It's about controlling the past. For billionaires, buying dinosaur fossils isn't just about showing off. It's also about status among the elite. When you walk into a billionaire's home and see a Monet on the wall, a Bugatti in the garage, you're impressed. But when you walk in and see a 20-foot dinosaur skeleton standing in the living room, that hits different. That's dominance. That's saying, I didn't just win capitalism. I collected Earth. Not because they need them, but because wealth at that level rewrites the rules of ownership. But not every billionaire buys dinosaurs to flex. Some see them as investments. Believe it or not, dinosaur fossils have outperformed many traditional assets. Their value increases because supply is fixed, demand is rising, and wealthy buyers keep multiplying. There will never be more dinosaurs discovered than already exist. That makes them the ultimate scarce asset. More scarce than gold, more scarce than art. And then there's the psychological side. Billionaires are obsessed with legacy. What happens after they're gone? A dinosaur skeleton lasts longer than companies, currencies, even civilizations. Owning one is a way to feel permanent in an impermanent world. If your name fades, the dinosaur won't. There's also something symbolic happening. Dinosaurs were the dominant species of their time. They ruled the planet, until they didn't. Some critics say billionaire dinosaur collecting is ironic. The most powerful people alive, collecting the remains of the most powerful creatures that ever lived. A quiet reminder that dominance never lasts forever. So why don't museums always win these auctions? Because museums have budgets. Billionaires don't. When a museum caps out at $5 million, a private buyer can go to 15 without blinking. And the hammer falls. Sold. History changes ownership, not because they need them, but because wealth at that level rewrites the rules of ownership. And this is where wealth truly rewrites the rules. What used to belong to humanity becomes private property, not because it should, but because it can. This is Money Aha. Subscribe for more videos.